Are we looking pretty?
I don't know. I can't really tell.
But then again, you always look like $1,000,000.
Oh,
Good evening. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. It's Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night with Ben Stowe, and Ben is with us. Good evening, Ben.
how are we doing,
Doing
John?
well, doing well. Have you caught up from the latest rounds of travel around, we'll call it the world?
Oh my golly. I think so. I'm still catching up a little bit. I just flew back today from Boston and the Boston, Providence, Rhode Island area. Um, it was a fun group, and it came after a really really crazy week with a couple of nationally touring shows that I was working on, and I think I'm going to sleep pretty well tonight. But yeah, I'm kind of winding up my travels for the year. I maybe have one or two more trips for the year, and then I'm more or less done. And so I'm looking forward to shifting gears now into thinking about things like carving pumpkins and Thanksgiving pie and Christmas dinner and all
Yeah, the
that good
important
stuff.
time of year, that's for sure.
You
Good
bet.
stuff. Well, let's take a look at the T-shirt of the week. What do you have for us this week?
Well, this is a one of a kind. Well, it's actually I guess there's two, but he made these up special for two of us, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Smile as loud as you can. There's only one
Yeah.
man I know who's ever used that, and his name is starts with big and ends with daddy.
Yeah, I didn't say who it came from because I wanted to see if you would pick up that. Of course, being the media maven that you are, this one didn't slide by you. Yeah, the one and the only Sean Big Daddy McKee, who of course was one of the other speakers out there in New England. Boy, what an incredible human being! Here's a guy who's beaten cancer twice. He spoke on passion, and I think if you were to look up the word passion in the dictionary, you'd probably find his picture next to it. Of course, some of our younger viewers are saying, "What's a dictionary?"
It's an
So
app that's down in the app.
yeah, if you went to Wikipedia and looked up passion, you're going to find his picture on the page. But he's just a dynamite human being, and he gave me this shirt, and it summarizes life the way we ought to live it, really, and the way he does live it. The guy is, as a sportscaster used to say, or maybe he still says it, I don't know. But anyways, you can't stop him; you can only hope to contain him. And that's Big Daddy right
Yep,
there.
that's for sure. That's for sure. Good man. And I've enjoyed my time with him, and I had a chance to sit in and listen to his presentation on passion at the Las Vegas DJ show, and I not only learned a little bit, was motivated, but I enjoyed myself during that presentation, which generally you don't get all three.
Yeah, no, he's the trifecta, and you can imagine. I don't know. I guess I've been speaking and traveling for 20 years, and I don't even have any idea how many times I've spoken publicly. Certainly in the hundreds, but it doesn't matter. Even at that, I was kind of sitting in my room, getting ready to go back to the event, and I was thinking about the fact that I had to follow not only Sean Big Daddy McKee, but also John Ross, and that's a tall order. No matter who you are or where you're going, when those two guys start the night, you better bring your A+ game.
Oh, good company though to be within, for sure.
And what's really more important than all that is two guys are really considered dear friends, and that just made the whole night fantastic. It was more like just a fun get together, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, as long as we're talking about the show, your trip to Boston, what we decided to do tonight, for those of you watching tonight, we wanted to kind of talk about some of the things, some things that Ben learned on the trip, or something that stood out to Ben, so he could share some tips from Ben Stowe on the road. Yeah, that'll work.
All right. Well, here's a road tip for you. As I had a 4:30 wake up call for my flight this morning, the world does in fact run on Dunkin'. I swear there was, and I love my Starbucks, but I walked right by the Starbucks because I saw this angelic glow in the airport at the Dunkin' Donuts. Oh. So I had my pumpkin pie donut and the coffee, and of course we're seeing the dividends of that now. However many hours, 16 hours later, or whatever it is. But
I think that's kind of an underwritten thing. I think I drink more coffee at shows than I do the rest of the month that I'm not on the road.
True story.
Yeah. Dunkin', that's funny because I too hit Dunkin' Donuts last week at the show I was at.
And it's one of those things. It's they're definitely a stronger concentration of them. In the Northeast. I mean, you can find them all over. We used to have one in Bemidji years ago, and we haven't for a number of years. And so I do have to travel to go get my Dunkin' Donuts fix. So there's things like that. When you're in Tim Hortons country, you make sure you have a Tim Hortons.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Kind of just the things that regionally you find, and it's kind of a treat for those of us who live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we have our coffee fix. What's next?
Yeah. Well, some of the best things that I learned, obviously I was brought out there as the headlining presenter for this event to teach other people, but despite that, I learn all the time. I learn from other people all the time, and I love learning, and I love the passion that our customers have. I love the passion that the DJs have for the equipment, the things that we provide them. And so just a week or so ago, we talked about our cable testers, and those have been a fantastic hit. And I would love to say that I had thought of this, but I have to come clean. I'm a humble guy. I didn't. Maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe I have too many tools in my toolbox, and I didn't have to think outside the box. But actually, one of my customers pointed this out, that if we were to use the MDP plugs, the banana plugs on here, with a multi-tester probe or something like that, we could now use this to test unterminated cables. And here's an example. This is kind of the quick poor man's version. That's me. So we've got our banana plug, and we've just put a couple of gator clips on here. We're going all out MacGyver. Yeah. I couldn't find, if I had found some tinfoil, I'd have stuck it in there just for effect. And we can stick this in. And now, of course, we have our alligator clips connected into our tester, so that if we had a cable that was terminated on one end and not on the other, we could, in fact, then test that cable. So how nifty is that, right?
Nice.
So I learned from one of our customers, and I was super excited about it. So,
very cool.
So thanks. Let's see. What else did I learn? Well, being a history buff, and I had a fantastic day in the city with Snap DJ president Richard Muggle. He was kind enough to take me around Boston, and I got to play tourist for a day and just kind of relax and soak in the history. And of course, there's lots and lots of it there. This is, the birthplace of our country, really. If you think about, Concord and Lexington, and kind of all the things that set that ball rolling, where some patriots, told King George to go sit on it, and over 200 years later, here we are, the greatest nation in the world. But it all happened there. It all started right there at the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, and all those sorts of things. And a key part of that was the USS Constitution, a Navy frigate, I believe, sailing ship, and got the nickname Old Ironsides. And I learned that there is no iron on the side. It's just a wooden ship that held up incredibly well in battle, but it is sheathed in about 11 tons of copper, although not necessarily for armor. It's more. But anyway, so I learned that. And everybody watching saying, well, what does that have to do with DJing? Nothing.
No, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes one of the coolest things in life are just a little bit outside our DJ world.
Yeah, broaden your horizons.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we like to do every once in a while. Sometimes we get really technical and really, do I dare say, geeky?
Yeah, I think that's the word of the day. Every day.
Sometimes. I've heard we do once in a while here on this show. But you know what? Sometimes you got to have light. We got to have some fun. And, yeah.
Well, I was trying to think about how many cables you could make out of 11 tons of copper, but,
There, we just went geeky.
Also, the peninsula of that Boston resides on has grown. The city has artificially expanded their shoreline into the harbor to make more city. And so the place where the Boston Tea Party occurred, where they dumped the tea overboard, is actually now a street. That's now land. But that was kind of a neat thing to. Again, these are the things that unfolded and led to the birth of a nation.
Yeah, that's interesting. I did not.
So that was kind of cool.
Did not know that.
Yeah, we had kind of a fun day, and everybody is going to just groan and smack their head here. They're not going to believe how little I really know about the world sometimes. But I didn't realize the inspiration for the TV show Cheers. I didn't realize that bar is in Boston. So I went to the bar that was the inspiration for the TV sitcom Cheers. And we had lunch. Of course, we had clam chowder. And it was delicious, absolutely fantastic. So I guess that's something else I learned in Boston. And one of the things that I learned about, this didn't really surprise me. Again, I've been in this industry over 20 years, but I guess I'll say that I learned or experienced on another level that there is a group of DJs out there in Southern New England who are incredibly passionate. And they're incredibly dedicated to their craft, and it was really an absolute treat, just an absolute honor to be there with them, and to share with them, and to present some information to them, and to answer their questions, and to meet many of them face to face for the first time was a neat experience. And so props to those people who came to the event and brought that passion. To top it all off, they presented me with this when it was all said and done, and I thought, what a first-rate, top-notch organization,
Very cool. So, yeah, some good folks out
there. Fantastic. It was a great group. Just I'm talking about passion here, as Big Daddy would want me to, but I just you kind of can't help but gush about these people. Speaking of, now we've said enough about Big Daddy. All right, you had your 5 seconds of fame. The other gentleman that opened the evening, John Ross, who of course is a good friend and a good customer and all that. But he's one of those people that, even though I've known him for years, you still have to be impressed every time you're around him. Even though you know what's coming, he still impresses you. And I don't know exactly how old John is, in his 60s, I believe. And I think I have a reputation of being a pretty high energy guy. But wow, like just wow! If you haven't had a chance to experience John Ross, that's the only word that you can use. If you haven't had a chance to experience John Ross, you had best go do it. You are shortchanging yourself by not experiencing John Ross.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that statement. But there's just with the East Coast crew, there's just so many characters who are really kind of some of the icons in our industry. That when the industry was first starting out, these guys were the ones there doing it, creating the content, creating the information, and yet they're still here today and as good as they were when when we first started and seeing them.
Maybe better. Yeah. They just continue to find ways to up their game. Yeah. And characters is right. Boy, you got that right too. This, they are a group of characters, all right.
Yeah. And that's one of the Disc Jockey News. The DJ Times show in Atlantic City in August has become such a family reunion, because you get to go see these talented people who are just some of the most down to earth people you want to meet. But oh my gosh, I stand back and it's like, goodness, I wouldn't deserve to be on the same stage, possibly same room as this person, because there's just that much talent. And yeah, it makes me really feel bad at times, but I enjoy that process and being around these guys, because you learn so much just by hanging with them.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I started the night with a joke, but there was some truth to the joke, I think. And I started out by saying that my grandfather is a very was a very wise man. He was a simple man, and this is all true, by the way. He was a blue collar guy. He worked in the street department of the city of Sioux City, Iowa. But nonetheless, he had a tremendous wisdom. And he said to me when I was a young boy, he said, Ben, you'll know that you've made it in the world if Big Daddy or John Ross ever opens for you. And I said, well, Grandpa, what if they both open for me? And he looks at me and he says, well, that's just never going to happen. And, it just kind of underscores the point that, I feel like I should have been the opener. I should have opened for them. And to have both of those guys open is, it's pretty surreal. Yeah. I think I should have been the opener.
Good stuff. Good stuff. For those of you watching, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, we've got a Facebook page, a Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe Facebook page. You can pop out there, search for Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe, and go and put questions there. We've had some people do some messaging here and there with some of the Ask Ben Stowe page, and we've had some private messages, but you can go there also and send a message over if you got a question, if you have a thought, if you have a T-shirt that you think Ben should be wearing. We can get you hooked up with the information of how to get it to him, and it might be on one of the shows.
Well, I think that the Facebook page is fantastic for that. I'm excited for the increased ability to interact with the viewers. That's the reason that we're here on a Tuesday night. It's not for my own self gratification, certainly not for yours. We want to share the knowledge and grow the industry and raise the bar, as it were. And the feedback from the people watching, that's you. That feedback is so essential. It's so important for us to know what you want to know. And we have some great ideas coming. A future episode on cold weather storage of gear, which I suppose is a good time to just throw out there that when I got off the plane in Bemidji, it was 34 and snowing. So won't be long before we can do that episode.
Yeah, that was actually one of my thoughts as I was walking to the office this evening. It's really cold, and we're back to that season again.
Yeah, ask me how excited I am about that.
Boy, where's the next trip south?
Yeah, is there anybody in the South that would like to book me? Please. No, I'm happy to be home for a little bit, I think.
Good.
So, it's just that feedback. When people, say, what about this? What about that? That's good stuff. And I encourage you who are watching to jump in there and participate. And even if it's something but you think someone else could benefit from, this is a team effort here.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's raise the bar together.
For sure. And if people would like to check out past episodes of the Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe, you can go out to djntv.com. And out there's a link, Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. You click on that, the Tuesday with Ben Stowe, and that will take you to a listing. I think it shows like 6 at a time, but you can see the last 6 episodes, and you can click more and see more and go through and kind of check out some of the back shows, because there was actually a couple of we made some sense.
Reminds me of something somebody else said at the event, and I was talking, and he came up and he says, "You must be Ben Stowe." And I said, "Yeah, hi, how are you?" And he says, "Well, I recognized your voice from the videos." And I said, "You didn't recognize my face?" He says, "No, I just turn it on and fall asleep to you every night." So, like learning by osmosis or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's so bad. I think on that note, we probably should wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah, you can't top that. So
good stuff.
I needed that after feeling so full of myself for being on the same stage as John and Sean. I needed that just to put it all back
down a little bit.
Yeah, like, all right, I'm a sleep aid. Okay.
Thanks for that. Oh, great stuff. Well, Ben, thank you very much for being with us tonight. And next week, I think I've got a couple of actual topics that guys have been asking about. We should dig into, because I think we'll both be pretty much around for a couple of weeks in a row.
What will we do with ourselves?
I don't know. Our wives are going to be like, "Get these strange, stinky men out of here." But that's okay. We'll put up with it.
Yeah, I've got a few projects that have in mind. Rubens tube, for example, some things that we can use to demonstrate waveform propagation, and it involves fire. So that'll be fun.
Always a good topic when you can have fire.
It's all fun and games when the fire alarm goes off and the sprinklers go off and everybody's evacuating the NLFX headquarters.
Wait, it's only Ben. Oh, again?
Yeah,
again. Oh. Well, good deal. Again, ladies and gentlemen, go out to the Facebook page, Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Questions, comments, put them there so we can address those in an upcoming show. If you're out on Twitter, you can go hashtag NLFXBen, and he can catch up with you there. Otherwise, comment down below the video. Whatever works for you. Ben, one more time, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Good night.